What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Grading is just wild. The number of cards that get sent into various places to get slabbed up is just absolutely astounding. And GameStop dropped a little thing on Twitter yesterday or the day before about their collaboration with PSA. And I remember when this was announced and I was doing videos on it, and a lot of people were like, what? This is stupid. Who would ever use this? And I remember when it happened, I was kind of like, I think this is going to work. And fast forward to today, it has been basically 5 months. The collaboration was formally announced on October 15th. So basically 5 months and 1 week. Now, they obviously did like the whole buyback program and thing earlier than that, but for just grading drop-offs, it's essentially been dead on 5 months. In 5 months, they have done 1 million cards through GameStop to PSA. They're about to hit their 1 millionth. GameStop's doing some promotion where you win free grading for a year or something if you happen to be the 1 millionth card submitted. But just think about that. In 5 months, 1 million cards have gone through GameStop. So let's just do some real basic math, and about double that. That's a little over, that'll end up being a little over 2 million cards per year, assuming things keep going the way that they're going and they don't even continue to grow it more. Just through the GameStop collaboration. That is crazy when you think about it. Now, I know a lot of people locally and just in comment sections that have had good experiences with this. I have a few people that's actually, they submitted cards themselves forever, and now they're just using this. Yes, there's been some stuff that has gone wrong. Yes, some GameStop seems like they're a little bit better at it than others. Yes, there's some issues, I think, with like tracking orders and things like that occasionally. I haven't done it myself yet. I prefer to submit on my own. That's just me. I'm a control freak when it comes to this sort of stuff. But it's clearly working fairly well. They're doing 1 million. They've done 1 million cards in 5 months. And to be quite honest, we've heard of issues, but not like that many issues considering how many cards that is. To put that into context, this is the total items graded in 2024 for the big four. In 5 months, they've almost doubled what Beckett did in an entire year just through GameStop submissions. That is crazy. They've done half of what SGC did last year in 5 months just through GameStop submissions, and a little less than half than CGC. And then, they did 15 million on their own last year. Now, a little bit of that had GameStop mixed in, but now all of a sudden you got another 2 million plus cards a year coming in a door through GameStop. No wonder why PSA is so backlogged right now. I have a sneaking suspicion the GameStop stuff, along with just general user demand, is what really put the crunch on PSA to close out 2024. Remember, towards the back half of 2024, PSA was cruising. You sent orders in, you were getting them back pretty quick. The end of 2024 rolled around. They ran a couple of good specials. The holidays hit. All these GameStop cards started coming in the door. Pokemon's had some banger releases. And now, all of a sudden, their receiving room and probably whole process is just smashed because of all the volume coming through the door. And now, to be fair, a lot of that I have a sneaking suspicion, and the gem rate data will tell the tale over the next couple of months, because remember, there's a little bit of a lag time there. So, the cards submitted versus when they hit the population reports. I have a sneaking suspicion a lot of this is being driven by TCG, because Pokemon is so hot right now in general. And also the sets that they have coming out are monster sets with tons of big singles to chase. So people are sending that stuff in the PSA as fast as humanly possible. I myself just sent 20 some cards in on a TCG submission just recently. So TCG has definitely been a big driver of it, but there's still a lot of sports stuff getting graded. It's just, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that the GameStop PSA partnership has performed extremely well. I'm surprised it has worked this well. Even I didn't expect this. But I had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to be pretty popular. Because, once again, I remember saying this in that original video, the GameStop thing, at the time, I thought we were not the use case for GameStop. And when I say we, I'm talking viewers of sports card YouTube. If you're logging on to YouTube and watching sports card content, I think that puts you in like a more advanced tier of someone that's kind of in tune with what's going on. And I wasn't sure that we were the target market for it. I was thinking more like little Susie and Tommy wants to grade their newest Pikachu card, and mom and dad have no idea what that means. Oh, we could just drop it off at GameStop. Now, I think they've gotten a ton of that business, but they have also gotten some of our business. People that were submitting on their own previously. And I personally did not expect that to happen, but it has because of how easy it is. So this partnership has been a massive, massive success. Speaking of, because then within like a day, or maybe even the same day, speaking of PSA partnerships, they put this out. They have now consigned 1 million cards to eBay through PSA. Now, people, this person down here is like, GameStop is the reason why. Let's not forget, and I could be wrong on this, when you submit through GameStop, you can't vault the cards. They have to come back to you. So this is a whole separate million cards that individual submitters are sending in that are choosing to send to the eBay store via PSA and the consignment. Now, this I have used, and I did it pretty early on. I haven't done it recently. This next batch of cards that I have at PSA, there's a good chance that I may divert some to the vault. Now, my initial impression, this thing is great. It worked so easy. The cards got listed super fast. When the auctions closed and paid, I got the money super fast. It was all very, very smooth process. The second time I tried to use it, the card shipped before I could make a decision on sending them to eBay or shipping them home. And I know you could preset it before the cards even go into grading. I personally don't like doing that. I want to know the grades, because depending on how the card grades depends on what I might want to do with it. If it's a PSA 9 that I lost on and I just like, whatever, I'm not going to deal with this, $20 card. I whiffed. Maybe it was a $100 card at a PSA 10 and I just don't feel like messing around with it. Maybe something like that. I just send the PSA auction and say, cut my losses, do your thing, let's go. Or maybe there's a certain card that I think has better angle as trade bait than selling it. Or maybe, depending on the grade, I have someone that might be interested in that card. So I don't like to make those decisions prior to knowing my grades. And the couple times that I've used this, that's been my biggest gripe, is that they're almost too fast. I did not get an opportunity once grades popped to tell it. And I checked almost instantly. You know me and my PSA orders, I'm refreshing that thing 65 times a day when I have cards there. So I knew immediately when the grades popped. In fact, this is why I check. I saw my grades on the app or the website before I got the notification that my grades were ready. Because that's how many times a day I check it. But that's been my only real gripe with this whole thing, is the ability to reroute those cards once you know the grades seems tricky. And I know other people have had that problem. I've had some, like I said, the first time I used it, I had no issues. The second time I used it, I did have issues. And I've heard very similar comments to that down below, where some people are like, oh yeah, One time it worked great, and then the other time the cards were already packaged up and shipping back to me before I could even do anything. So that's something they need to work out, but I think that could probably be a solve on their side. I don't know that that's the biggest hurdle in the world, but I think they just have bigger fish to fry at the moment. But clearly that collaboration has worked out extremely well, because like I said, it's been the couple times I've used it, smooth sailing, nice and easy. And you only really sacrifice maybe a couple percent than what you would doing it on your own, and you don't have to touch anything. It's great. It's great. So, million cards there, million cards here. It's just wild times in the cardboard world right now. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.